The Ashridge Mine Incident, 1972. When we descended into the tunnel, the light from our lamps flickered, and the air felt thick, like water. And then came the knocking, too regular to be a collapse. Someone or something was down there. Interview with a mine worker, 1983. Ashridge, Pennsylvania, 1972. A small mining town tucked between forests and hills, where nearly every man had a connection to Ashridge Mine No. 3. On the surface, it looked ordinary. One main street, a few shops, St. Agatha's Church, and an old rail dead end. But underground, there was something most preferred to ignore. That spring, strange occurrences began in the tunnels. Workers reported unexplained sounds, knocks, creaks, sometimes voices that no one could identify. The first complaints appeared on April 12th. In Engineer W. Gardner's report, dated April 29th, 1972, it is noted. From April 12th to 28th, 9 instances of anomalous wall vibrations were recorded. Some workers refused to descend for their shifts. Old-timers claimed the mine stood atop abandoned 19th century chambers. According to them, the walls remembered death, and if someone broke the rules, they would hear strange knocks as a warning. In early May, the rumors turned into fear when 3 miners, Frank Dillard, Bill Clarkson, and a newcomer, Richard Howe, did not return from their day shift. Ashridge Herald, May 20th, 1972. Rescue operations at Mine No. 3 continue. According to Captain Welsh, Tunnel Sector D is partially collapsed. No traces of the missing workers have been found. Local residents report hearing nighttime sounds from the mine shaft. Rescuers descended into the tunnels and began noting unexplained phenomena. According to their accounts, when they turned on their lamps, the light dimmed, reflecting off the walls, and it seemed that someone stood in the depths, but the figure vanished when approached. One worker, William Thorne, later recounted, "We heard voices behind us, but there was no one there. At first we thought it was the wind or echoes of pickaxes. Then we saw shadows, 3 silhouettes in old helmets. They stood still, and then vanished." His statement was recorded in the police report on June 18, 1972. In 2012, Reddit user u/coaldustmemory posted, "My grandfather worked at Ashridge Mine. He told me things they never printed in the papers." According to the post, the grandfather witnessed workers disappearing one by one. The air became thick and heavy, and the walls emitted a knocking that could not be explained. In his diary, he wrote, May 15th. "They are still down there, beneath us. I heard them calling our names, but we buried them back, and 49 archives confirmed the 1949 mining accident in the old sector, where 12 miners died. Not all bodies were recovered, and Sector F was sealed. The new Tunnel D ran only 60 meters from that site. Each day, the anomalies intensified. The noise became more rhythmic, as if someone was striking the walls with a pickaxe underground. People reported hearing the voices of dead miners calling their names. Rescue teams noted that the air smelled of sulfur and old earth. Lamps dimmed, and flashlight beams cast shadows that should not have existed. Officially, everything was attributed to stress and rumors, yet reports noted some workers refused to descend. Rumors of ghosts are becoming a topic of discussion. Further work is only possible with police and psychologists present. On May 15th, one day before the disappearance of the 3 miners, the first recorded contact with the supernatural occurred. Veteran miner George Malkin recounted, "I stood at the tunnel entrance. Suddenly, I heard someone whisper, 'Don't go, don't go.' I looked. No one. My heart raced, but I moved forward. The voices followed, growing louder. I saw the lamplight move by itself, and the shadows, they moved with it, watching us." This testimony is included in the police report of May 16, 1972. The Reddit post by u/coaldustmemory sparked intense discussion. Commenters noted that the grandfather described the scene of the miners' disappearance in almost complete alignment with archival data. Some researchers suggested atmospheric pressure and gas pockets could create optical illusions, but many could not explain the voices and lights moving on their own. It suggested that the mine was not merely the site of an accident. Something lived in the tunnels, a darkness that did not obey the laws of physics. Local teenagers who snuck into the abandoned shaft in 1974 confirmed the rumors. Danny Morris disappeared, while two friends described the event. We heard knocking, like someone hitting with a pickaxe. Light appeared underground where there was no passage. And the shadows, they moved by themselves. It felt like someone was watching us. After this, the mine was permanently sealed. Steel plates and concrete could not silence the sounds that locals claim can still be heard today. Ashridge today is ruins, rusted iron stairs, overgrown streets, remnants of the mine. Officially, access is restricted. Yet at night, if you listen carefully, residents report. From the depths of the earth, knocking can still be heard, as if someone continues to work. After the mine was permanently closed in August 1972, Ashridge gradually faded. Official reports claimed that the tunnels are unsafe, further work is prohibited. But the locals knew. The noises underground had not stopped. In the following months, several people attempted to enter the sealed sections, and almost all returned, showing signs of mental exhaustion, trembling, insomnia, nightmares, and intrusive memories of the knocking that sounded too alive. Official inspections by the Department of Labor revealed no violations. Inside the mine, no gas pockets or collapses were found. However, documents contained a strange line. During the inspection of Tunnel D, anomalous vibrations were recorded that do not correspond to any known geological activity. Engineer W. Gardner report, 23rd of September, 1972. In October of the same year, the local newspaper Ashridge Herald reported that a team of researchers, led by Professor J. Klein, planned to investigate the phenomenon. We intend to determine the causes of the strange events recorded in Ashridge Mine. Psychological effects cannot be ruled out, but documents indicate the presence of sounds and lights that cannot be explained. The expedition entered the abandoned shaft. Initial descents revealed nothing, at least visually. But sensors recorded knocks resembling pickaxe strikes, footsteps, and voices whispering unintelligible words. One of the students in the expedition, Jonathan Hughes, later recorded, "We descended almost 70 meters. The air became viscous, lamps barely burned. I heard voices, as if old miners were talking to each other. Then I saw a light moving along the walls, where there was no tunnel or passage. And suddenly, a shadow slid across the wall right in front of me. My heart raced, but no one in the group saw anything." These data were recorded in the expedition journal, later partially published on Reddit. The post received responses from dozens of former miners and Ashridge residents who claimed they heard the same knocks and voices. In 1973, another event gave the incident a truly mystical dimension. A team of workers from a nearby quarry, conducting drilling operations, heard faint knocks from the abandoned shaft of Ashridge No. 3. When they lifted equipment to the surface and the drill touched the top plate, a sharp, deafening knock echoed from the mine, audible for miles. The effects were immediate. 3 workers lost consciousness, and 1 suffered permanent psychological changes. Medical reports noted, patients described the feeling of a foreign presence, hearing the voices of the deceased. Symptoms resemble prolonged psychological trauma. No expert could provide a rational explanation. In the 1980s, local researchers and journalists discovered the old diary of a miner from 1949, the one who died in the collapse of Sector F. The diary contained a chilling entry. "Down here, they are still alive. I hear their breathing and the knocking. It seems they are waiting for us to descend." The connection between the 1949 and 1972 events remained unexplained. Some said it was the curse of the mine, while others suggested some entity had taken residence in the tunnels, defying the laws of nature. By 1990, the mine was fully abandoned. Concrete and steel sealed all entrances. Yet locals reported that on quiet nights, the knocking could still be heard, rhythmic, like pickaxe strikes, and sometimes voices calling names. Elders warned, "Do not go near the mine at night." The darkness down there never sleeps. It remembers everyone who has set foot underground. And though no official incidents were recorded afterward, the rumors persisted. The town decayed, but the noise underground remained, cold, monotonous, and rhythmic. Occasionally, residents claimed to hear the voices of their relatives who had vanished back in 1972, calling them downward. After decades of neglect, the Ashridge Mine Incident drew renewed attention from researchers in the 2000s. Scientists and paranormal investigators joined forces, attempting to understand what had occurred underground. The goal was not only to explain the disappearance of the 1972 miners, but also to reconstruct the chain of events stretching back to the 1949 accident. The investigation began with an analysis of archival documents, engineering reports, police protocols, newspaper clippings, and miners' diaries. All pointed to one fact: Mine number 3 and its Sector D were dangerously close to the old sealed F chambers. But the physical danger could not explain the knocks, voices, and lights recorded by witnesses. Initial field studies used modern sensors, microphones for anomalous sound recording, thermal sensors, and infrared cameras. The first observations confirmed the strange. Inside the tunnel, knocks and footsteps were recorded that did not correspond to human activity. The sensors themselves frequently malfunctioned. Cables overheated. Cameras lost connection. One of the expedition members, psychophysicist Dr. Elliot Marshall, described the atmosphere in his journal. Descending 65 meters, we felt the air become dense, almost tangible. Lamps flickered as if alive. Knocks, footsteps, and voices could be heard. Sometimes it felt like the shadows in the tunnel were watching you, though the cameras could not record them. Marshall conducted a series of audio experiments. When the recordings were slowed or sped up, repeating phrases known only to 1940s, miners could be heard. The names of the deceased, commands and warnings, like "do not go further." Reddit posts appeared again. U/mine archivist. We are reanalyzing the Ashridge recordings. The strange knocks and whispers match the dates of the 1972 disappearances. It feels like a consciousness operating underground. Some commenters suggested that a consciousness of the mine itself had manifested, while others believed an entity had taken residence in the tunnels for decades, observing humans. In March 2014, the expedition went deeper than ever. They breached a narrow gap between the concrete slab and the old Sector F. Cameras recorded something inexplicable by physics. Light appeared suddenly, without any source. Shadows moved against airflow and ventilation. Knocks on the walls matched the pattern of human-sized footsteps, but no living beings were present. Dr. Marshall noted in his journal, "What we saw cannot be described in ordinary words. It seemed as if the mine itself were alive, watching and controlling movement. We found no one physically, yet everyone felt the presence." In the following weeks, a pattern emerged. Knocks and voices coincided with the dates of the miners' disappearances, as well as the 1949 accident. Researchers hypothesized that the mine could remember events, as if retaining the energy of those who died. Local residents confirmed that even 40 years later, knocks and voices could be heard. Some claimed they heard their long-dead relatives calling them downward. The final experiment took place in 2015. A team of scientists left an automated camera and microphone at the old entrance. The recording captured knocks resembling the rhythmic strike of a pickaxe, a faint light appearing from the walls, and a quiet, almost indistinct whisper, "Come, come, do not forget those who are here." This became the last documented contact. Afterward, access to the mine was completely restricted, and concrete slabs sealed all entrances. Many archival materials were classified. To this day, Ashridge remains a ghost town. Official reports are silent, but locals know something still lives underground. What exactly? No one can say. Those who have dared to approach describe oppressive darkness, noises, and voices and a sense of a conscious presence. Researchers' conclusion was succinct. We found evidence of phenomena occurring in the mind that exceed the bounds of science. What we observed cannot be explained by earthly laws. It remembers. It waits. And although the mine is closed, Ashridge's darkness continues to live, strike, and whisper from the depths, leaving only questions and fear for anyone brave enough to approach.